Hello everyone. In this video, we'll learn about cascade diagram. A process whereby something, typically information or knowledge, is successively passed on is called as a cascade process. Now, as the players are working in a sequence as a group to achieve the desired goal, in design of hydraulic circuits, cascade methods is employed to develop circuit design for sequential operation. How to utilize the cascade method to design hydraulic circuits. The first step is to split the given sequence into small groups. While doing this, care should be taken in such a way the number of groups that is formed should be minimum, and also no actuator should be repeated in the same group. So the next step in the cascade diagram is to find the components that is required to develop the circuits. So all the components are found with the help of number of groups. So the number of pressure lines that is required will be equal to the number of groups. Number of limit switches that is required is equal to the 2 into the number of cylinders, and the number of DCVs will be equal to the number of cylinders, and the number of GCV is equal to number of groups minus 1, where DCV is the direction control valve and GCV is a group changing valve or cascade valve. With this, let us try to design few circuits. So let us take an example where we'll try to develop the sequential operation using a cascade diagram. Now let us take a single condition where A plus, B minus, C plus, A minus, C minus and B plus is going to be the sequence that is required. Now as the first stage is discussed, the first step is to group the given sequence into minimum numbers. So while grouping it, we should be careful that no cylinder or actuator should be repeated in the same group. So I'm splitting it like this, where the first group has ABC actuators and the second group has ABC in a different order. But as you can see, no actuator is repeated inside the same group, and this is the minimum most group that could be taken. So the number of groups is equal to 2. So with the help of the number of groups, the other components will be found. So the number of cylinders is equal to 3 as it is given in the sequence. The number of pressure lines will be 2 as it is equal to the number of groups. The number of DCVs is equal to 3 and number of GCV is equal to 2 minus 1 as it is the number of groups minus 1, and the number of limit switches that is required to achieve this operation is equal to 2 into the number of cylinders. So here it is 3 cylinder, so 3 into 2, that will be equal to 6. So the initial condition, that is the components are taken here, and we'll go ahead with the design of the circuit. So all the components will be named first. So these are the cylinders or the actuators, which is A, B, C. And there are 6 limit switches, 2 for each cylinders. So that will sense the position of your cylinder. So A minus senses when the cylinder is fully retracted, and A plus is the limit switch which senses the full extension of your cylinder. Similarly, B minus, B plus and C minus, C plus are denoted. Now there are 3 DCV that will be used to control the direction of pressure to the actuators, and 1 GCV which is used to control the group that is being used. So as there are 2 pressure lines, we will be changing it during the operation. For the first group, first pressure line is used, and for the second group, the second pressure line is used. So from the DCVs, all the actuators have been already connected with the flow lines, and the DCVs are connected to the compressor. As we are designing it for pneumatic here, they are connected to the compressor, and the exhaust is simply left to the atmosphere. Now the first step in the sequence, so we should start with the first step. So the first step in the sequence is A plus. So from the first pressure line, the connection is given to the DCV1 in such a way when this is connected, the part that is going to be actuated, that is the port that is going to be actuated, will send the fluid supply to the extension stroke of your cylinder 1. So when this extension takes place, when the extension is completed, the limit switch A plus receives the signal. Now, the second step in the sequence is B minus. So, the signal from this limit switch should be given to the DCV B in such a way it actuates the return stroke of the cylinder B. So, as you can see, the DCV, if it is actuated on the right hand side, the fluid supply will be given to the port 2, which is actually connected to the return stroke of the cylinder. So, from A plus, the signal is given to DCV, which actuates B minus. Now, the next step after this is C plus. So, the signal from B minus, that is after the cylinder B comes back to the fully retarded position, the signal from the limit switch B minus is given to the DCV3, which actuates the cylinder C. So it is connected to the right left hand side of the DCV as that is being connected to the extension stroke of the cylinder. Now for the limit switches, which is falling under group 1, the pressure inlet is connected to the pressure line 1, so that when they are actuated, they will have enough pressure supply that is being diverted to the pilot operated DCVs. So once the signal is given to the DCV3, when the pressure is diverted to the extension stroke of the cylinder or the actuator 3, the next step is achieving A minus. That is, we are changing from group 1 to group 2. So the signal after the extension, that is after C plus, should be given to the group changing valve so that the group will be changed from 1 to 2. So the output of your limit switch is connected to the GCV, that is the group changing valve, or the cascade valve. So the cascade valve should also be connected to a pressure supply so that the pressure inlet to the cascade valve should be given to the pressure lines 1 and 2. So now here the second is being actuated when after C plus, and we have to change from group 1 to 2. So the output port of this is connected to group 2, and the return of the group 1 pressure line is connected to the port 1, so that the pressure from the compressor is given to the group 2 pressure line, and the pressure which was already there in the group 1 line is being released to the atmosphere. Now the first step in group 2 is to achieve A minus, that is from DCV1, which is from the initial position, it has to change to the other position where the inlet from the compressor to the DCV is connected to the return stroke of the cylinder. So we connect the group 2 pressure line to the A minus actuation of the DCV. So once that is done, we'll receive the limit switch signal at A minus. So the limit switch pressure supply is connected to the group 2 because it is falling under group 2. Now after this particular step, we should achieve C minus. So after A minus, the next sequence is C minus. So the output from the limit switch A minus is connected to the DCV3 where it is going to achieve C minus. So it is connected to the return stroke of the cylinder C minus. So once this is done, the port changes and the pressure line which is connected to DCV3 is connected to the return stroke of the cylinder C, and the limit switch C is connected to the group 2 pressure line so that it will receive the required pressure supply. And after the C minus step, the next step should be B plus. So the signal from the C minus is connected to the DCV B such a way the B plus signal can be actuated. Once this is done, the last stroke of the given sequence, that is B plus, will be achieved, and that B plus is being connected to the pressure line 2 as it is again falling under group 2, and the output of this B plus should initiate the next cycle, that is again it should move on to A plus as it is going to happen in a sequence. So this output should be given to the group changing valve so that the group be changed from pressure line 2 to pressure line 1. So once the B plus signal is received by the GCV, it changes its position so that the pressure line 2 will be depressurized and the pressure line 1 will be pressurized, which initiate the next cycle where it again starts from A plus.